There's been some big leaks and rumors in regards to DMZ Season 3 and future content. Leaked voice lines from possible traders coming to the game, future progression with different factions, as well as reputation and ways to get the AI to not shoot at you. If you're interested in more DMZ tips, updates, videos like these, make sure to sub to the channel. And with that being said, let's hop right into the leaks. First things first, I want to talk about the leaked voice lines for possibly an upcoming trader that's coming into DMZ. Now, I got these voice lines from Player 2's video. He makes really good content about DMZ, so check out his channel. And I believe he got these from someone within a Telegram that tends to leak things. But these voice lines are, let's see what you got for me. I'll keep it. Nice find. Now this is worth a trade, and drop something to trade or leave. Now, obviously, as you can tell based on these voice lines, these seem very much like you as the player are giving something to this person. I mean, they literally said the word trade in two of the voice lines. Now, traders are something we've seen in other games in this genre like Tarkov and the Cycle Frontier, and those games are a step ahead when it comes to this trader mechanic, which I think is crucial to DMZ games. Being able to extract your cash and items and buy or sell, trade with traders to get things in return makes the game much more interesting and gives it more depth. Although we don't know if this trader system will be something that is on the map, like let's say you have to go find this trader on Al Mazrah, or if this is something that happens in the menus outside of the game, similarly to the Cycle or Tarkov. But if these leaked voice lines are true, it is a step in the right direction for DMZ to add more depth to the game that is much needed, because many players, including myself, just really don't have the motivation to play the game anymore, because even if you're completing the missions, there really isn't much progression. And real quick, I also want to note a leak that we got from the Ghost of Hope on Twitter. The Ghost of Hope, for those that don't know, is a Call of Duty leaker that tends to have a lot of, true leaks, a lot of things that end up coming true that they leak. This is from May 15th of 2022, so, 10 months ago at this point. But the tweet says, Modern Warfare 2's third mode DMZ will include a marketplace where items can be bought and traded. You'll be able to earn skins, blueprints, and more from DMZ that are usable across multiplayer and eventually Warzone 2. Now, obviously, we have not seen this leak come true yet. This has not come to fruition because we have not seen a marketplace or a way to buy or sell items, especially earning skins and blueprints and things like that. But maybe what's coming with these leaks in the trader voice lines is a step in the direction towards this leak that the Ghost of Hope pointed at. Another thing that we had leaked recently in regards to DMZ is a reputation system for the factions, as well as ways to get the AI to be friendly with you. Now, this comes from just a couple days ago on Charlie Intel, but they wrote an article and also put in a tweet from Task Force 141 leakers on Twitter, which basically say future DMZ content based on what was added in Season 2 Reloaded are barter contracts allowing you to build reputation with each faction, faction reputation and trust system, faction buy stations with rewards that vary based on your reputation with the faction, and faction sites with the faction ground soldiers, which will be hostile or friendly based on your reputation and actions. Now, there's a lot to unpack here, so let's start with the first part, which is barter contracts that allow you to build reputation with each faction. In games like Tarkov and the Cycle Frontier, I know I always reference those, but those are those are basically the two staples of this looter shooter genre. There are faction tiers and ways to level up your factions by doing missions specifically for each faction or trader. So knowing that barter contracts could be coming to DMZ to build your reputation for this faction is pretty cool. Typically, there's some type of rewards or something you get for building your reputation with that specific faction. So whether it be rewards like, skins, bundles, cosmetics for building your reputation with factions, or if you get access to better things like kill streaks or maybe different types of insured weapons or things like that from the factions, that could be cool. Going off of that, the second point was faction reputation and trust system. So obviously using barter contracts will build your reputation within each faction, and the trust system kind of sounds to me sort of like how it works with scavs in Tarkov, where basically if you're a scav, if you're playing as your scav and you kill another scav, it lowers your trust or your reputation with scavs, so you're more likely to get shot at by other scavs rather than if you have good reputation, they won't shoot at you. So for me, the way I see this working in DMZ is basically if you have high reputation and high trust with a faction, let's say one of the factions is Shadow Company, if you have a really high trust system with Shadow Company, when you go on Al Mazrah or you go on Ashika Island and you find Shadow Company soldiers, the AI won't shoot at you if you have a high enough trust system. Now, this could really combat the crazy AI that we see in DMZ, because if you're able to build up your trust with these AI soldiers and build up your faction reputation in a way which they won't shoot at you if you run by them unless you shoot at them. This can really help make the game a little bit easier and kind of avoid some of the tough situations where you end up getting stuck in a POI because there's so many AI. Not only are they dangerous, but they have high spawn rates. The third point from this tweet was faction buy stations with rewards that vary based on your reputation with the faction. So having separate buy stations, I don't know if this means buy stations in general are going to be completely removed and turned into faction buy stations, or if there's going to be faction ones as well as normal ones, but having a buy station specific to each faction that maybe gets you access to different things like certain kill streaks or certain weapons, or maybe one faction only has large backpacks, one faction, only has self-revives, and that's the only way you can get those from specific buy stations. This could be interesting and add a little bit more depth to the gameplay, as well as some variety. So you maybe have to travel to a certain POI to get access to a certain faction buy station. So let's say you want a large backpack, you have to go find the crown faction buy station wherever that is on the map in order to purchase that. This could make the game a little more difficult and complex, especially for newer or inexperienced players, but it could also add a little bit of depth and a little bit more of a learning curve to the game. And the last point, which kind of goes based off of some of what we already talked about, which is faction sites with ground soldiers, which can be hostile or friendly based on your reputation. Like I said earlier, having this reputation or trust system with the factions, as well as which ends up resulting in reputation with the AI, could be really cool and can make the game a little easier or harder depending on how you approach those situations and get your reputation up. I think by being able to do barter contracts, completing missions for factions, upping your reputation, and then maybe not having to engage and fight with AI as often in DMZ can make it a little more interesting, make it a little more easy and more fun to do missions, as well as just change the gameplay, because right now anytime you see an AI, you basically have to shoot at it or else it's going to shoot at you. I think overall these leaks are really good for DMZ if they come true. Of course, these are leaks, nothing is guaranteed, but if there's a way for these to actually come into the game, add traders, add faction reputation, barter contracts, all that sorts of stuff, the more in-depth they can make DMZ, the better, because as of right now, it is a very bare bones experience. It's like the little brother to Warzone. That's how I like to refer to it as. It's basically Warzone for people that want it to be, a slower pace, less hectic as Warzone, but you still want to be able to fight other players, shoot your gun in AI, and just play on a bigger map. I personally would love to see traders, especially to the extent that we see it in a game like Escape from Tarkov. I think that adds so much depth to the game, and if you could actually get rewards like we saw with the Ghost of Hope tweet, if you could actually get rewards that are like skins, cosmetic bundles, things like that, where you can use these in other game modes like multiplayer, like Warzone, that would be really cool. But of course, it's very unlikely for Activision to do that because they like making their money. So if they did do that, I can imagine it would be really difficult to get to the point where you can earn something that could possibly be used or purchased from the store. Let me know what you think about these DMZ leaks down below in the comments. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on traders as well as faction reputation and the possibility of making the AI friendly towards you. If you learned something new from this video, make sure to drop a like, sub to the channel. I will be keeping you up to date on DMZ leaks. I know I don't post as many DMZ guide videos these days, mainly because I don't play DMZ as much. I'm just kind of bored of the game mode, like I said earlier. So if I'm not playing the game and completing the missions, then not only that, but I'm also not getting the footage or having the understanding on how to do the mission. So I really don't feel like I can make guides if I haven't completed the mission myself. Drop a like, sub to the channel, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next video.